Good morning, it's MJ. It's Sunday, pasta day. I'm going to make some pasta with a pasta extruder from KitchenAid. And I'm going to tell you about this recipe because it took me a few tries to find just the right consistency. The extruder can't be quite as smooth as the dough that I use for the cutter. It's a little too smooth and it gets gummed up in the machine. So I found this recipe from the internet where I find most of my recipes. And I've tried it before and had really great luck with it. It's pretty simple. This is 2 cups of regular all-purpose flour, 2 cups of semolina, which is a nice Italian flavor to it. So I'm just going to put that right in here, and I mixed it all together. Okay. Put that right in my stand mixer, and I have the dough hook on. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of regular salt. Just granulated salt. I'm going to add a heavy teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. And make sure we get that all in. And I'm going to add 3 eggs. I put them in a bowl. I like to crack them in a bowl rather than crack them into the pot because if I do that, I always end up with a shell I have to fish out. This way I can see there's no shells and I'm kind of worried about that. I want to add them one at a time just to let the mix start going. I'm using my 5-quart KitchenAid for this. And I have the KitchenAid set on speed 2, and I'm just going to have to bring the sides down first. I just want to let it do its own thing for just a minute. It doesn't take long to mix pretty thoroughly. And you want a little bit of a gritty texture to it, not that nice, smooth, silky dough. It's got to be a little bit gritty and grainy. Just want to bring down the sides a little bit. Get that all mixed in really well. And if need be, you can add a little bit of water, little at a time, very little at a time. Let's see how it feels. Dough's kind of funny, you can almost tell by the feel. And this is starting to feel about right. So that's done its job. Now I want to take it, I'll show it to you. See, it still looks a little bit gritty, but as long as you can start squeezing it together and letting it hold, that's what you want. But it's not so fine that it's silky. You feel the grittiness, and that's the semolina, which makes for a great taste. So we're going to go ahead and get this, get the extruder set up, and I'll come back and show you how I do that. Okay, I added a little extra water because it seemed too gritty. Now I'm just going to hand knead it for just a minute, just to make sure it's all mixed in really well. It's formed a nice ball. It's going to make a lot of pasta. And I'm not quite sure which I'm going to make. I'm debating on the small, maybe the fusilli or rigatoni. Have to check to the boss and see what he's in the mood for tonight. I've already got meatballs out of my freezer ready to go. My sauce is all ready to go. But we'll show you all that a little bit later. Okay, so that looks really good. So now what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to let it rest for like a half an hour. And I'm just going to put it right back in here, and I'm going to cover it with some cellophane, and I'm just going to let it sit. See you in a little bit. This is my Pampered Chef Rock Crock, and in it is sauce, meatballs, and sausage. The sausage my brother Ben makes himself. It's not store-bought, so it's super delicious, and that's what's going to top our pasta tonight. Okay, so our dough had a chance to rest and it gave me time to cook up the sausage and the meatballs I had already made, and they're now in the sauce behind me. I'm going to take out our dough. Isn't that pretty? Now, there's two theories on how to do this. One says to make little golf ball size nuggets, and then I saw somebody do something on a video on Facebook that I really liked, which was to feed it in long little hot dogs. It makes it, you know, kind of take itself in through the hopper. So I'm gonna give it a try. If it doesn't work, I can do the rest the other way. But I'm going to just try little ones at a time. And what I'm going to do is once I get them kind of rolled up and to a little shape, I'm going to put them in some cling wrap just to keep them from getting too dry before I'm ready to use each piece. Because you don't want your dough to get too dry or it won't be good either. It's kind of a, dough is a learning curve. You kind of just have to get used to what it's supposed to feel like. And when you have a successful dough, you'll remember that. My very first time with this, it was terrible. I used my favorite pasta dough that I use with my roller when I make fettuccine, which is a total egg pasta, which I just love, and used just regular flour, no semolina. And it was silky and smooth and beautiful, but it was too silky and it got caught up in the cutter. It was such a mess to clean. So when I was using this with it, and then I went online and I found some people who recommended different dough mixes, and that's where I got this from. So you play with it a little bit. If you're doing this, you probably don't mind experimenting in the kitchen, or you wouldn't be bothered to even do all this. So this is the little discs. It comes with all the discs for all the different size pastas. I've decided today that we're going to have small macaroni. And so that's the little disc, and you just screw it in. And they give you this handy dandy little tightening tool just to make sure you got it on nice and tight. And that's pretty good. And this is your cutter, so I'll show you that. We're just going to get this into the hub. You just line up the little pin, or do I have it out far enough? There we go. And just thumb tighten the screw. And it stays in securely. If I do this on my bigger machine, it pops right out. So I'm not real pleased with that. But this says to work it through size 6, or speed 6, excuse me. So that is what we're going to do. And we're going to, and it takes a little while to get down the hopper, so bear with it. It's